Hey guys, welcome back to Fantasy Tips. My name is Julian, and this is the buy low and sell high episode of week 18 of the fantasy hockey season. Before we get started, guys, please leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and follow me on Twitter at FantasyTipped. I'm constantly posting there to help you guys out and win every single week. Now, this video is specifically for trading. So if you guys want to upgrade your team by making some trades, this is the video for you. And first, I'm going to start with the sell high players. And these are players that are doing really well right now. And it's a little bit unsustainable, which is why you should consider selling them right now. And first on the list, I have Patrik Laine of the Columbus Blue Jackets. He has 33 points in 30 games on the season, but in his last 9 games, he has 18 points. He's been going off like crazy. He is the definition of white hot. Right now, he's just on an absolute tear. So if you have him, try to ride him maybe a couple more games, but then maybe consider dealing him because his value right now is through the roof. He's doing incredibly well right now, but I don't think it's going to last the entire season. There's no way he's going to continue at a 2 points per game pace for the rest of the year. It's just not going to happen. So if anybody's buying into that, try to trade to them. His shooting percentage is 19.3%, whereas his career is 15.4%, and his on-ice shooting percentage is 14.2%. So he is getting a little bit lucky. Next is his line mate, Boone Jenner of the Columbus Blue Jackets, and in his last 9 games, he has 12 points. And Boone Jenner is not the kind of player to get over a point per game, yet lately he has been doing that. Just because Patrik Laine is so hot, it's really helping Boone Jenner since he plays with him on the top line and on the top power play. Don't get me wrong, I really do like Boone Jenner for fantasy this season, but lately he's been super crazy good. His shooting percentage this year is 16%, whereas his career is just the average 10%. So he's not going to be scoring as many goals probably going forward, and I think that he's going to slow down a little bit. He's still going to do decently for the rest of the year. He was still getting more than a point every 2 games on average this year before this super hot stretch hit, but this hot stretch is something that's not sustainable. So if you can flip into someone who thinks that it might be sustainable, that is a pretty solid idea. Then I have Brayden Schenn of the St. Louis Blues, and he's having a really good season so far with 27 points through 33 games, 14 goals. The thing is, guys, his shooting percentage right now is almost 25%, which is absolutely insane, which means he's scoring on about 1 out of every 4 shots he takes, which is crazy high. That's not going to be sustainable for the rest of the year. And on top of that, he was just dropped down to the 3rd line. The 3rd line is with Kyrou, which is pretty solid, but it's also with Barbashev. And Barbashev has been ice cold. He's still playing on the top power play, so I don't think Schenn's production is suddenly going to drop off a cliff. He's still going to be perfectly fine, but he's been really incredible lately, and if someone's buying into that, I would consider selling him. Now, if you want to hold Schenn for the fantasy playoffs, I absolutely have no problem with that because St. Louis does have the best fantasy playoff schedule. Just maybe test the waters and see what Schenn could fetch you right now because it could still be worth trading him. My 4th sell high is Taylor Hall of the Boston Bruins, and he's having a pretty decent season. He's got some highs and lows in there, but right now he's benefiting from Marchand being suspended. He's playing on the top line with Bergeron and Pastrnak, and he has been producing lately. So as long as Marchand is suspended, Taylor Hall has a lot of value. When that suspension is over, does Taylor Hall stay on a line with Haula and Pastrnak like he was a few weeks ago, or does the perfection line get reunited with Marchand, Bergeron, and Pastrnak? If the perfection line gets reunited, Taylor Hall suddenly, his value dips down a lot once again. If he stays on a line with Haula and Pastrnak like it was a couple weeks ago, then his value will be fine. Do you want to risk that? It's up to you. If you're a Hall owner, you might want to consider dealing him because he wasn't very good when he wasn't on a line with one of the perfection guys. And my last sell high is Mason Marchment of the Florida Panthers. And he was injured for a little bit this year, but in 25 games, he has 27 points, including 16 points in his last 8 games. The hype around this guy right now is absolutely crazy. He's really managed to put a lot of points up, playing on the 3rd line, which is absolutely crazy. But the thing is, his shooting percentage is 21.2%, which is very, very high. That's not going to be sustainable for the rest of the year. Plus, he's playing on the third line with very little ice time, considering how well he's doing. And his PDO is 113, which suggests that he is getting quite lucky. And his luck will probably run out shortly. Therefore, if you own Marchment and people around you are questioning you, asking you if you want to trade him, that's probably a good idea. Then I have Jakub Vrana of the Detroit Red Wings, and he is coming back from injury soon. So if he's available on your waiver wire, go out and grab him, because he was a point per game for Detroit last season after he was acquired from Washington. So Vrana could be a real difference maker for your team. Then I have Anthony Mantha of the Washington Capitals, and he's also coming back from injury quite soon, which is funny because they were traded for each other, but they're both coming back from injury relatively same time, which is kind of funny. Anthony Mantha is also a difference maker, and he could probably ignite Nick Backstrom, and if he does, Mantha could provide a good amount of value for you. Then I have David Perron of the St. Louis Blues, and he hasn't been that amazing this year, unfortunately, but he was recently put back on the top line with Ryan O'Reilly, and he's still playing on that top power play. His shooting percentage is a little bit low this year at only 10.8%, whereas his career average is 12.7%. So he should be able to get you a few more goals going down the stretch. And also, guys, St. Louis does have the best playoff schedule in the league. They play 4 games in each of the playoff weeks, which is super, super valuable. And David Perron is someone you could probably buy for almost nothing right now, and he has an opportunity to turn his season around and potentially help you tremendously for the fantasy playoffs. Then I have Ryan Strome of the New York Rangers, and he has been pretty cold as of late, only getting an assist here and there, but he's still on the top power play and on the top line with Artemi Panarin. That's a great place to be. We know how good Ryan Strome can be when he's hot. So yeah, right now he's cold, but that doesn't mean he's not going to turn it around pretty soon. See if you can get him from someone who's frustrated with Strome right now, because you might be able to get him at a significant discount. Next, I have Connor Hellebuyck of the Winnipeg Jets, and the Jets have just not been able to win a lot of games as of lately. Hellebuyck has only won 3 out of his last 10 games, which is not great. So in leagues that you need wins, he hasn't been that good. In leagues where you need, save percentage and stuff like that, he's been okay. But in leagues where you need wins, he has not been that great. And that's why he's an excellent buy low candidate right now, because the Jets will undoubtedly start winning some more games in the near future, because they do have a pretty solid team. And I believe that they will turn it around. Then I have another Winnipeg Jet in Neil Pionk. And Pionk has had a pretty disappointing season so far. He has only 20 points with only 2 goals in 45 games. That's less than a point every 2 games. But Pionk is a really good defenseman. He's just had a rough time this year. His peripherals are honestly pretty good. He's shooting, he's hitting, and he's even blocking some shots. So it's not exactly all bad for Pionk. The thing is, right now, he's not playing on their top power play. He was earlier in the season, but for some reason, they love Morrissey there right now. Will that stick? Maybe, maybe not. Last year, Pionk didn't really play on the top power play all year and still managed a lot of points, and he still was a very, very good fantasy defenseman. So Pionk doesn't necessarily need the top power play to put up points. He can do just fine on PP2, and he can put up some 5-on-5 points as well. Pionk is someone that definitely could turn his season around. I'm not giving up too much for him, though, right now, since he is ice cold. So if you can get him for almost nothing, absolutely go for it. Next is Nicholas Backstrom of the Washington Capitals, and he has 2 points in his last 7 games while going -4. That is not good at all for Nick Backstrom, and he's someone that doesn't really put up peripherals. So if he's not putting up points, he's really doing a whole lot of nothing for you. And people don't want to hold Nick Backstrom anymore. They're getting really, really frustrated with him. And obviously it makes sense, right? But let's look at his overall season stats. He has 14 points in 19 games. That's not exactly bad. I think he will get back on track, and I think Anthony Mantha joining the team shortly could definitely help him with that, since, the lines are constantly shuffling in Washington, and nothing is super stable. A lot of their good players are not in the lineup right now. Oshie's hurt, Mantha's hurt, so he's playing on a line with Snively and Tom Wilson. I mean, it's not the worst line in the world, but Oshie and Mantha are definitely better line mates than that. So when they come back, Backstrom should get a boost and definitely should start producing more than he has been lately. I'm not overly worried about Backstrom. Try to hold him and ride it out. And if you can buy low on him, do so. So my last 4 guys on this list are players that are very likely to be traded at the trade deadline. And the first one being Claude Giroux of the Philadelphia Flyers. He has 38 points in 47 games this year, which is not bad considering how really not great Philadelphia has been this year. And in all likelihood, Giroux is going to Colorado. He's already expressed that he wants to go to Colorado. So Philadelphia just has to make it happen, and Colorado just has to make it happen, right? And if Colorado gets Claude Giroux, they're very, very likely to win the Stanley Cup. So I think they're going to go all out and try to acquire Claude Giroux from the Flyers because it's a really, really good idea for them if they want to win that Stanley Cup. Now, if he goes on to Colorado, he likely gets a place on the second line with Nazem Kadri and Burakovsky, or they scramble the lines and maybe Giroux plays with Rantanen and McKinnon, and then Landeskog plays with Kadri and Burakovsky, or someone like that. Either way, he's going to play in their top 6 and maybe even on their top power play, and Giroux should really start putting up points because Colorado scores a lot of goals. Next is Jakob Chychrun of the Arizona Coyotes, and he's a really good defenseman. He's someone who offers you an insanely safe floor because he shoots the puck an incredible amount. In 39 games, he's shot the puck over 120 times already. He's shooting 3 times per game, which is absolutely great. So there's a floor there, and on a better team, he's going to put up a lot more points. Where he ends up going, we'll have to see. The rumor is Florida right now. If he does end up on Florida, does he play top power play over Ekblad? Who knows? But Chychrun's value can only go up from here. It's hard to imagine that value going down from being on Arizona and the season he's had so far. Chychrun's value can only go up, so try to buy him low right now. Next is Marc-Andre Fleury of the Chicago Blackhawks. Considering he plays for Chicago, he's had a pretty solid season. Chicago is not a good team, but Fleury has still managed to put up some solid stats and has looked really good this year. So Fleury, the only thing is that he has a full no move clause. So he basically gets to choose if he wants to be moved and where he wants to be moved to. The rumors right now are Edmonton and the Washington Capitals. The Capitals have Vanacek and Samsonov, but obviously they'd prefer Fleury for a playoff run. And the Edmonton Oilers are a team that desperately need a starting goalie because Mike Smith, yeah, he's okay sometimes, but he's really unpredictable and he's also susceptible to injury. And Koskinen is just not that great. So having Fleury would be incredible for Edmonton's hopes. And if he does get moved to Edmonton, oh my God, does Fleury have a lot of value. But the thing is, the Oilers will have to move a lot of caps, so we'll have to see what happens. But if Fleury gets moved to Washington or to Edmonton, oh boy, I really do like his value for the rest of the year. So maybe try targeting him right now because he likely will get moved at the deadline to a much better team. And last but not least, I have Phil Kessel of the Arizona Coyotes. Has 33 points in 50 games, which is not bad considering he plays for the team that he plays on, the Arizona Coyotes, and likely he'll also get moved at the deadline. His cap hit is quite high, so teams might have to find a workaround for that, maybe a 3-team trade or something like that. But Phil Kessel is someone who a lot of teams would probably like to have for a playoff run because he has that playoff experience. He's won a Stanley Cup. He knows how to play in the playoffs, and he's a pretty good player overall. So we'll have to see what happens there. But Phil Kessel's value can only go up from here, considering the team he plays on right now. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. Please leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you guys want to watch some more buy low and sell high candidates, check out my last buy low, sell high video right up there. Hope you guys enjoyed the content today, and I'll catch you in the next episode of Fantasy Tipped.